Hello, welcome to Module 3. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. Oops. There we go. And stop video. All right. Sorry about that. It always gets a little tricky. All right. So welcome to Module 3. And we are going to hit all of these issues or topics: mindset, nutrition, exercise, and stress reduction. But first, I want to check in with you. Let's start with this, though. We're kind of a third of the way through. And so I want you to keep trying, keep trusting, keep believing, keep growing, because heaven is cheering you on today, tomorrow, and forever. Of course, that's not my quote, from a guy named Jeffrey Holland, but I really liked it. And I hope that you'll have days where you just don't feel like doing some of these things, and that is okay. Just let yourself feel that way and hop back on the bike. I can't think of another word. Just hop back on and keep trying and keep trusting and believing that you can do this, because I've got your back. So does everyone in the group. Today, the things we are going to cover are, we're going to cover cravings and the wellness wheel. That's a tool that we can use to help with cravings. Cravings is kind of, there's a lot of different things you can do to help with your cravings. So I think you'll enjoy that part. We're going to talk about quality versus quantity of foods and sending you on a smart shopping trip and reading labels in a concept called traffic light eating. And we are also going to train smart. I'm going to help you add to what you've already been doing with exercise, and then you're going to start on meditation. A lot of you I know already meditate, so this may not be new to you, but if it is new to you, you're really going to enjoy that. But first, before we dive in, I just wanted to check in with you with a few questions to remind you that this isn't necessarily a checklist of what needs to be done. Everything you've learned so far is behavior change and transforming your life. So it's something that I introduce slowly so that it can create and become a habit in your life. And also then the transformation of whatever your goals are, whether it be losing weight, having a smaller waist, having more energy, will be lasting. I don't want this to be a quick fix and something that you have to constantly battle. I want this to be an easy, slow transformation that you can maintain and keep going on. So here are a few things just that we've been working on. How is your weekly schedule working out? And are there any time vampires that you need to still sort of work out? So just kind of think about that. These are all ongoing, right? Time vampires happen all the time. Is there an area in your life where you need to ask for help in order to clear time and space for yourself? You know, maybe you need to ask your spouse, roommate, partner to help you with chores, help with the kids, help with the pets. How about your vision board and your health goals? Are they somewhere where you can see them, where you can set eyes on them daily? If not, let's move them back out. How about your thoughts? I know you're probably aware of your negative thoughts and stopping them. But then are you going that extra step and replacing them with positive thoughts and affirmations? This one is so important. Are you being your own best friend? Not only with your thoughts, but with your journaling and your affirmations. You know, just anchor yourself in being your own best friend. If you're not your own best friend, how can you expect anyone else to be a friend of yours? And this was a new concept for me of just really being my own best friend and comforting myself, because you're always with yourself. So why not? And then again, this is really important. It may seem silly, but are you practicing that disciplined imagination where you believe your success has already happened, and you're imagining what people are saying to you, of how great you look, of how you've lost your weight, or that black dress you want to buy. It looks awesome on you. This one I'm still working on myself. It's constant, right? Are you eating twice as often? Well, yes. Chewing twice as long, working on that, and eating half as much. So that's just how to eat. I'm going to be teaching you what to eat in all the upcoming weeks. I hope you've tried the sipping solution. That will really affect your results. And I hope you're doing that 3 or 4 times a week. I think in my module, I asked you to do that for breakfast and your mid-morning snack. You can add and do that for lunch and your afternoon snack too, because you're getting the nutrients that you need in those smoothies. So if you want quicker results, go ahead and add the sipping solution to all day, but then eat a smart supper. All right. If you're not adding lemon water to your morning routine, that is okay. Maybe just squirt some lemon water on some of those vegetables to get those antioxidants in there. And then your water, I hope you're drinking half your water weight in water, with water, whatever. And adding breakfast to your regimen, and make sure the breakfast is high in protein and fiber, not sugary cereals. No. And then, of course, I hope you've set up your gym or about ready to go purchase some of those, the equipment that I asked you to get, organizing your kitchen, and bought yourself some workout clothes. That's all awesome. And then most of you I know are exercising, but I hope you're at least getting 150 minutes a week. That works out to only about 30 minutes a day, 7 days a week, 20 to 30 minutes every day. And finally, I hope that you realize stress and your cortisol levels add weight to your body. It makes your body hang on to weight. So that's why it's so important to concentrate on reducing that stress. So avoiding, adapting, and altering. And I hope you're working on all of that. Again, I know these first few modules are heavy on the mindset, and I mentioned this, but it's so important to get the mindset right before we move on to the nutrition and the exercise portion, because honestly, it just won't work. You'll just go right back to your old habits. You'll go right back to the old way of thinking, and the weight will come right back on. The results won't be lasting. So I really want to anchor and create this foundation of good mindset before we move on. That's why it's so heavy on mindset right now. All right. All right, so let's move on. Speaking of mindset, let's move on to the mindset of cravings. I loved this. I saw this. Dear stomach, you're bored, not hungry, so shut up. We're going to talk about cravings and the wellness wheel, but first, cravings and some of the causes of cravings. I thought this was interesting when I studied this, but one cause is that there's something lacking in your personal life. And this is where the wellness wheel will come in. So we'll talk about how to help you with that. But it could be relationship issues or career troubles, or maybe you don't even realize it, but you're spiritually dissatisfied. And so those areas where you're not being nourished, it's very natural to seek satisfaction with food. Another cause of craving is lack of water intake. Really, sometimes you're just dehydrated and it comes out that you're starving and really hungry. So sometimes water can do the trick. Another cause is comfort food from childhood. I thought this one was interesting because I do sometimes crave macaroni and cheese. I love that. And so a lot of times I'll just make myself a healthier version of mac and cheese. I can share that recipe with you. It's not the same, but it sometimes just satisfies that craving. There is such a thing as a tongue cleaner. It's sold by the toothbrushes, and sometimes you just crave food you just ate and you just want more of it. So sometimes just the simple brushing your teeth or using that tongue cleaner can remove that craving. Believe it or not, it's true. Another cause is lack of nutrients. If you're not getting enough protein, you could crave beef, a hamburger or something. If you're not getting enough iron in your diet, you will be fatigued, and then therefore you'll crave caffeine. If you are not getting certain minerals, you'll crave salty foods, things like that. So that is something to always make sure you're getting all your nutrients. Hormones is another thing, and that is not something I personally will touch on in this health coaching. That's beyond my scope of learning. And honestly, that is something if you feel your hormones are causing some of your cravings, really talk to your doctor about that. And that's good. Also, addiction. Now, usually, if you're craving sugar, let's say donut holes or wine, any wine turns into sugar. Sugar is the real addict here, and I don't want you to feel like that you're not strong enough or you don't have willpower. An addiction is an addiction, and it's a brain thing. Your brain seeks more of it. So don't beat yourself up for craving sugar and things like that. It's okay, and again, this is beyond the scope of being a health coach, because addiction is a real issue, but it's being aware of it is the first thing, and not beating yourself up about it is the second part of that. And then just really working on some of those feelings about that. And then, of course, stress, because when your cortisol levels are high, your body will hold on to that extra layer of fat, and also if your body utilizes the energy reserves, then your energy reserves go really low, and then you're hungry and you need food now. So those are all the causes of cravings. So let's get into a few of the remedies of how to help with. I mentioned some of the remedies already, but this next one is the tool called the Wellness Wheel. And what it is you rate each area of your life on a scale from 1 to 10. So, professionally, where are you? How do you feel? It's mostly your feelings. So it's all of these areas: professional, mental, physical, emotional, social, spiritual. For me, about a year ago, it was professional and mental was really low. And that's when I enrolled in a class, my health coaching classes. And, they shot right up. Physical was there. Emotionally, when I was going through my divorce, emotionally, I was way off. And I know that affected my health. So, that's when you have to seek help. And so there are ways, if you after you've rated yourself, if it's 5 or lower, I would almost, it just depends on your own rating system, right? Maybe you're a high rater. So if anything is low, I say 5 or lower, or even 7 or lower, it's something that you want to feel more fulfilled in. And I gave some examples in the workbook of some things you can do. And in our live Q&A calls, most certainly we can help you brainstorm and help you up some of those ratings on each of those signs. But this is a really good tool to come back to periodically throughout your life. You know, every 6 months or so, just check in with yourself and see how balanced you are in your wellness wheel. All right. Other remedies for overcoming cravings is creating your own instead of list and have those things on hand. So let's say you crave ice cream. Maybe you could do yogurt instead. I've written some things down. Frozen bananas is a great replacement for frozen yogurt and frozen ice cream for that matter. I'm a big popcorn fan because I crave salty things. And so I'll make myself popcorn a lot. I have a great popcorn recipe. I shared it on the Facebook group, but I will make sure I give it to you again. I always have hummus on hand. That is my favorite kind of dip. I love to have chips and dip. So instead of like French onion dip with kettle chips, that's my favorite. I do actually have whole grain pita chips with hummus, homemade hummus. You know, having a handful of raw almonds or walnuts on hand is a great replacement instead of, say, a handful of sugary cereal or chips, something like that. So you get to create your own replacement list and then have those things on hand. Go shopping. Make sure the carrots are all cut up and ready to go. I think that's one of our other ways to help stave off the crave. Is dialing down the stress, which is we're going to be working on that every week for 12 weeks here. You also want to know if it's true hunger or if it's emotional eating. And emotional eating will just cause you to constantly want more of whatever it is you're eating. And I have included a few questions for you to look at and decide to help you decipher if it's true hunger or emotional eating. And of course, the first part of emotional eating is becoming aware of it. Like that quote earlier is, "Dear stomach, you're not hungry." So becoming aware of it is the first step, but then just trying to get your mind wrapped around of what triggered you to crave that food. I've included some questions for you in the workbook about, you know, just what were you feeling when you, the last time you had the food craving, what memories does it bring up for you? After you indulged in the craving, how did it make you feel? And that if the craving brought up certain feelings, how else could you create those feelings without eating? You know, sometimes you just want comfort. I know a lot of the times, especially when I was living by myself, a warm bath did the same thing for me as a glass of wine. So that would be sort of an activity that would fulfill my need for just needing to feel relaxed and comforted. So just something to think about. Of course, I mentioned this, planning and prepping beforehand. Just, you know, again, go back to the foods that you chose to replace and make sure that they're on your grocery list and that you've prepped them. You don't want to have carrots that still need to be peeled and cut up. Make sure that's already done so that when you're hungry, you can grab that and not have to prepare it. And of course, you can always go to our Facebook group because that's a great place for support. I'm sure there are others that have the same cravings you do, and you can help each other be accountable to one another. All right, we're going to move on to nutrition, which we've been talking about, but we're going to talk about the quality versus quantity of food. And it's basically you eat as much as you want of real unprocessed foods. I want you to just avoid processed foods completely. That's almost any food you have to buy in a box. And let's see, I think I go to the next slide on here. Yeah, the benefits of quality foods. Let me let you know that they are nutrient dense and they're more filling. And there will be more nutrition with fewer calories in whole, real foods. I try not to say clean eating. I don't know why I don't like that, but I just believe in whole, real foods that's not laced with additives and hormones and GMOs. You'll become satisfied with less, and you'll start craving real foods and shunning fake foods. This is true. It's magical. It's called the wisdom of the body. Of course, I've been eating healthy for a long time, but really healthy since I've taken my nutrition class. And it's true. I honestly crave things I didn't even think I liked before. More fish, not fried foods. You'll crave olive oil, the good kinds of oils, and you'll be able to taste the fake foods, the bad foods, the foods that aren't good for you. And the wisdom of your body will just say, yeah, give me more of that. I want more. And you'll start just sort of stepping away from the bad foods. It truly is magic. All right. So we're going to move on to going shopping and reading labels. Now, I have to be honest. I felt like I knew about label reading until I took my class, till I took my nutrition class. And I realized I really didn't read labels very often. So I included a list in your workbook about things to avoid, chemical additives to avoid. You know, you don't have to memorize that list, but it's just something to think about to avoid. But anyway, when you start reading labels, the most important section is the ingredients section. You can see that here in the pink on the right. You'll want, of course, the first ingredient listed on the ingredients list is what the product contains the most of, clearly. And the fewer ingredients on any given product, the better. And I like to see 10 or fewer ingredients in all the products I buy. This one clearly has more than 10, so I probably wouldn't buy it. Next, you'll want to look at the serving size, because a lot of the times they look like it's one serving when really it's two. So therefore, you have to double everything of how much it says it is. You have to double it because it's only listing half in this example. And the things to look for, I don't get hung up on numbers. I don't want you to either, because you will forget it and you don't need to memorize it. Just make sure the fat, especially saturated and trans fats and cholesterol and sodium, make sure those are low, and that the sugars are low, and that's in pink here. And you'll want to make sure the fiber and protein is high. I have a whole module about carbohydrates that we will talk about later. Carbohydrates are not bad for you. Just giving you a little teaser. Anyway, and I do want you to make sure you can pronounce most of the words and look for good words like whole grains. Instead of whole wheat, almost, you want to have whole grains. And yeah, just read those labels. Shopping may take you a little bit longer the first time, but then you'll start recognizing and knowing product names of what you're buying is good. There are loopholes in the manufacturers are allowed to say 0 grams of a certain item if it has less than a half a gram per serving. So they can say 0 in their nutrition facts. However, they do have to list it in the ingredients. So again, the ingredients list is the most important. That's honestly what I look at first and last. And if you ever see the words hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated, please, those are trans fats, put it back on the shelf. You don't want that in your body. All right? All right. Great. Label reading. Okay, so then I'm going to send you shopping. And here are some shopping tips for you. You'll want to, I know you've heard this before, but I'm going to remind you, shopping on the outer rim of the store is the best spot for you to get whole foods. It's where dairy and meats and veggies and fruits are. It's also where the wine is. Okay, that was a joke. Also, now, I don't buy all organic. 1, I can't afford it. 2, most of it goes bad so fast. But if you can, buy organic. Now, what I've done is I've listed the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 for you in your workbook. The Dirty Dozen are foods grown with the most pesticides, okay? So those are the ones you'll want to try to buy organic if you can. The Clean 15 are foods with the smallest amount of pesticides, so you can buy non-organic on that list, all right? So the Dirty Dozen, if you can buy organic, peaches, apples, bell peppers, celery, nectarines, strawberries, cherries, kale, lettuce, grapes, carrots, pears. That's what's on the list. If you can buy organic of those, that's the best. Another way to think of it is if you're going to be eating the peeling of a fruit or vegetable, like an apple or cucumber, if you're going to be eating that peeling, you'll probably want to buy organic. Otherwise, if you're going to peel it anyway, like an orange or a pineapple, kiwis, let's say, you're going to get rid of those pesticides because you're peeling it, so you don't have to buy organic. Okay. And then the next thing is you want to stock up on the green foods from the traffic light eating sheet I have included in your workbook. Because guess what? You can eat whatever you want of the green foods. And what I like about this concept is there's no measuring. There's no weighing. There's no like eat a handful or a certain serving size. It's as much as you want of the green foods. I know that doesn't surprise you that it's all fruits and vegetables, but fill up on the green foods. The yellow light foods, yes, you can eat. I give you permission to eat the yellow foods. Of course. Please eat pasta and rice. Of course, they have a little star by those. Try to choose whole grains whenever you can. But yellow foods are not off of your diet at all. And adding to that, neither are the red light foods. But just take it easy on some of those red light foods. Maybe once a week, have those things. So I hope that helps you. I hope that's a good visual for you, the traffic light eating. All right, going on to exercise. Oh, then there's some recipes. Avocado chocolate pudding and energy balls. Yay. All right, exercise. I shared with you a study that was performed by the Cooper Institute. And it was about 3 groups of women that they asked to walk 3 miles a day, 5 days a week. They were split into 3 categories. Group 1 were the strollers. And it took them 60 minutes to complete the 3 miles, all right? Group 2 were the brisk walkers. And it took them about 45 minutes to complete the 3 miles. And then group 3 were the aerobic walkers. and it took them only 36 minutes to complete the 3 miles. And the group 3 that increased their intensity but worked the least amount of time lost more calories than the other 2 groups, and lost weight. So the moral to the story is you don't have to work out an hour a day if you're increasing your intensity. If you can increase your intensity and train smart, you only need 20 to 30 minutes to work out and to exercise in order to lose the weight, burn the calories, drop those dress sizes. So I find this to be exciting news, really good news. I hope you do too, because we're all time deprived. And, well, let's go on to the Borg scale before I give you my example. I give you a perceived exertion rating, and it's basically perceiving your exertion rate from 0 to 10, with 0 being sleeping and 10 being you are sprinting as fast as you can because a tiger is chasing you, all right? You won't work out at a 10. But I would like for you to increase your intensity this week so that your perceived exertion is anywhere between a 5 and a 7 on that scale of 1 to 10. All right. So it's moderate intensity. It's hard to hold a conversation. You can only say a few words at a time. You cannot talk comfortably. Now, I'm not asking you to be this intense for a long period of time. I'm saying 30 seconds, 1 minute. All right. So some examples of what you're going to do this week is if you're currently just walking. All right. I want you every 3 to 5 minutes, I want you to increase that intensity for 1 minute. That means walking fast to where you it's hard to hold a conversation. All right. And then slow down and then go back to your normal pace for 3 to 5 minutes. Then increase that intensity for a whole minute. It's not easy. I'm asking you to work, to work out, but it really works. I have an elliptical in my garage, and on the days I don't feel like going for a jog, or I just don't have time to work out very much, I'll do only 20 minutes on the elliptical, and every 3 minutes I increase that intensity for a whole minute. And I just do that every 3 minutes. So it's on the 4th minute then. So I do that 5 times. On the 4th minute, I increase it. And guess what? My workout's done. And I know I burned a lot of calories. I gave you some other examples. You can also go and be in the pool. Walk around in the pool, and then every 3 or 4 minutes, kick your legs as fast as you can. That will get you out of breath. That works. If you're beyond the walking and you're jogging, then I want you to sprint and go fast for 1 minute every 5 minutes. This will change your life because you'll be working out less time, but you'll be burning more calories. It's brilliant. You'll love it. All right. Okay, that's your exercise for this week for Module 3. We're going to move on then to stress reduction and meditation. I loved this quote. Prayer is when you talk to God. Meditation is when God talks to you. And, someone described it as meditation is like a warm bath for your brain. And it's been integral in my stress reduction and in my life. I've really enjoyed meditation. I've tried a lot of different types of meditation, and I finally found one that worked for me. I prefer the guided meditation that I get from apps. It just helps me to focus and concentrate on what they are asking me to focus on. But perhaps for you, it's just listening to a song, one song. You just want to sit in a comfortable position, make sure your back is erect. So it's like you're relaxed but attentive and but comfortable. And I just want you to explore different types of meditation. I mean, you can download apps, you can look online. I've given you a few examples in the workbook. But the whole idea is to really concentrate on your breath and breathing. And as thoughts enter your mind, that's okay. That's normal. Let the thoughts enter your mind and then just say, oh, okay, there's a thought. Let it go like a cloud. Just put it in a cloud and watch it drift away and come back to your breathing. So it's just all about relaxing the brain. It's kind of like, it's like if there's a storm outside and you're inside looking at the storm from your safe, warm spot inside, you're looking at the storm through a window. That's the way meditation is for your life. So if you have stress and just things you're not looking forward to taking care of, or chores, or your job, meditation is like looking at all of that stuff of your life from a safe, warm place. You're looking at it through a window from a safe, warm space inside yourself. And so I hope that you find this as beneficial as I have. On the days I don't meditate, I feel the sense of urgency that's hard to explain. And the days I do meditate, it just calms me down. I get more done, believe it or not. It's like that theory of abundance. It's hard to explain, but it's another magical part of this whole health gig that I'm doing. But slowing down and taking time for myself has actually given me more time. And it's that theory of abundance, I guess. And I hope you'll try this and really enjoy it. And maybe you already are doing it and you're saying, Angie, I know this already, so shut up. Which is fine. And so the goal, this is my last slide. The goal of meditation isn't to control your thoughts. It's to stop letting your thoughts control you. So enjoy this week. It's a good week to be healthy, and I will see you later. Thank you.